Kia ora, welcome to the Rugby Channel. 1981 was the year that sticks the most in our minds when we look back at significant rugby years. It was a year that South Africa toured under controversial circumstances, with the cry from rugby lovers that sports and politics don't mix. After the All Blacks beat the Springboks in the first test at Lancaster Park, it was expected that the second test would only see an improvement in the winning margin. That wasn't to be, as the Boks got up. It was the 29th of August at Athletic Park.
Everything is set, and Naas Botha begins the second test after the whistle from referee Clive Norling, and this is Alan Hewson who returns the first ball to touch outside the 22, and a lot of interest on the performance of Wellington's Alan Hewson today, playing on his home ground. Knows it well from having kicked here and played here for all his representative career. There are the two packs of forwards with the sun shining brightly here, but the ground is very slippery and will be muddy in places, I'm sure, as the game progresses. Billy Katz throws, the battle for line-out ball. Well, the first one went to Kent Stewart at the back. New Zealand forwards driving in. Greg Burgess is number 3. And the first penalty from the Welsh referee Clive Norling, whose signals are very clear, is for hands in the ruck. Here's former All Black Graham Thorne.
Well, this test match today is going to be decided on the loose ball once again. The South Africans, who are making all those changes, have decided that the loose ball is where you win the test matches. It'll be interesting to see Baynard Klaasen and also Stoffberg and Geldenhuys how they go against Mexted, Shaw and Stewart.
That's Baynard Klaasen captaining South Africa in his third test match, and the ball hit him on the head just there at halfway. Ken Stewart's got him. You can see big Flippy van der Merwe as they get set for the first scrum, going through onto the tight head side against John Ashworth. The hook has gone to Dalton. Loveridge away to Doug Rollis in the first 5-8. And this is Casey Pina. He hasn't found touch. We had a lot of that happening in the first test. Alan Hewson running it wide, finds Stu Wilson, trying to crash the centre. That was a good tackle by Karts and one other South African player. There's Serfontein to Baynard Klaasen, to Pienaar up, the 22 approaches. This is Stoffberg, a great run. Hewson missed the tackle, but Cameron got his, and Serfontein is near the corner. And Fraser was across covering, and Flippy van der Merwe looked dangerous. Great move by South Africa early on.
Well, it seems like they're going to throw the ball round. It was good tackling on the part of the All Blacks towards the end of that move, and the ball went forward over the line. They've had to come back for the scrum, but the tactics are definitely going to be South Africa spin the ball.
An injury out in the centre of the field. Now remember the break in the centre by Stu Wilson. Well, Willie Karts is one of the tacklers, and he has gone down with an injury. There's Dr. Divan Serfontein checking on him now. He's a doctor back home who's actually doing national military service at the moment, and they're looking very concernedly at Willie Katz, who has been the #1 hooker in South Africa for recent years, but lost his place in the team for the first test to Robert Cockrell. But Katz back in today for his 9th international.
I think perhaps Hewson made a mistake trying to run the ball out. There was only 2 men outside him, and the Springboks were back in defence, and when Stu Wilson got the ball, he was quickly bundled up, and then the South Africans were quick to that loose ball and had an overlap on the left-hand side. And really it was a bit lucky that New Zealand got away when Serfontein could have scored the try so easily in the left-hand corner.
Alan Hewson in his first appearance of the All Black colours on Athletic Park. Back in a very defensive position just inside the dead ball area for the clearance from the scrum. It's a New Zealand loose head in this very tight defensive position. Onto the left boot from Hewson. Hasn't found the line. I want to give it to Botha perhaps for the drop kick. This is Jerry Hermoses. Mexted made the tackle. Ruck ball for New Zealand. Loveridge flat. Here's Casey Pienaar. Bounced off Mark Shaw's foot, and the All Blacks have been uncertain and unsteady in the first couple of minutes.
Well, there was 2 incidents there, then the ball didn't find the line, and that is at this level just inexcusable. And the South Africans are making the play from these mistakes that the All Blacks are making.
Well, Willie Katz is obviously not right. Beinert Klaassen is signalling to the stand, and looks like they may lose Willie Katz. The left arm is the problem in the shoulder area, and he is in very bad trouble with that injury, and he can hardly raise his arm to make the throw in, but he's staying on at the moment. Making the throw with one hand, went to New Zealand. A penalty to South Africa from the line-out. It was against number 5, Frank Oliver. So there's big Frank Oliver, who was actually in Brisbane when the news came through that he'd be called in to replace Graham Higginson. And Nas Botha, who has had only one match since Christchurch. The halt here as Willie Katz is leaving the field, and that's unfortunate for him. Just 2 minutes after the game began, going to be checked by the team doctor, Ogie Cohen. And here is a chance for South Africa to put the points on the board after 4 minutes. (3-0) with that successful penalty by Nas Botha.
Penalty for South Africa to number 10, Nas Botha.
Well, it looks like Andy Dalton gave the wind away to South Africa in the first half, so they have to get points on the board with the wind behind them. New Zealand have to try and keep the Springboks in their half for the first 40 minutes, and then in the second half take advantage of the wind.
The match restarts from Houston's kick with Louis Moolman taking the catch. A loose ball there for Serfontein. And you see in that instinct there, Serfontein swung the ball on field. Now, I think in the first test, he might have just put it out. Short line-outs called by New Zealand. Deep throw by Dalton. Mexted and Beinert Klaassen. Ken Stewart, it's a slippery ball out in the centre. Serfontein, lost by Gerber. Knock on. That's the South African 22 just to the right. And a man coming on. It will be Robert Cockrell. Coming on for his 9th international.
Number 2, Vinnie Cook, is number 16, Robert Cockrell.
So Serfontein midfield in South African territory. Good kick across in front of Alan Houston. That's out to where Bernie Fraser is marking Ray Mort on that far wing side. A little conversation there between Cockrell and Serfontein. So New Zealand at the back are playing Ken Stewart, South Africa playing Beinert Klaassen, their captain. 5 is Moolman. Mexted through, he pushed Serfontein before he had the ball, and that's a fair call by referee Norling. And another chance for Nas Botha with that penalty against Murray Mexted. Another chance for Botha to kick for goal.
Nas Botha is deadly with the right foot, and he didn't have a good test in Christchurch. He averages nearly 11 points a test match, and once he's on form and slotting them through the middle, anything could happen.
7 minutes gone in the first half. South Africa lead 3-0. Here's a chance for them to go 6 up. And he's done it. 6-0. With 2 penalties now to number 10, the danger man with the boot, Nas Botha. Hayden getting in well for the jump, for the good kick by Houston. Loveridge back to Rollison. Here's the high kick. Oh, they let it bounce. This is Gesi Pina. This is Gesi Pina, his 12th test match. South Africa's Rugby Player of the Year in 1980, but hasn't really hit form in 81 yet on this tour. Short line out again by New Zealand. That one went to Hayden. That's Frank Oliver. To Rollison. Deflected down by Danny Gerber. Infield to Visser. Movement feeds Serpentine. Out wide to Danny Gerber, the danger man from late in the first test. And Alan Hewson, the ball deflected from him into touch. So that's Danny Gerber, the centre who looks a dangerous runner. Nearly got a breakaway that time. Replacement hooker Robert Cockle throws to Div Visser. To Border, picked it up nicely to Gerber. And here's Pina up to Jenny Gerbersace. The defence is across. But that's a fine try. And Gerbersace signals his return with a great try in the corner.
Well, once again, it was just an ordinary orthodox movement by South Africa, with the extra man being the fullback, Casey Pienaar. And you could see as he came in, we can't give you replays because there has been a bomb scare.
There is trouble at the back. The riot squad has been called in. An object, the smoking object, was thrown onto the field.
And South Africa's try was scored by number 11, Terry Kelman.
So there's a disturbance behind the ground. Objects have been thrown onto the pitch into the in-goal area. They're the policemen who with track suits who stay on the infield. And a number of people are being taken away. South Africa ahead by 10-0.
So another kick to Nas Border, his third today. He's got a 100% record so far, and this is the easiest one of the lot.
The All Blacks didn't charge it. It was obvious to them it was handy enough, and that's 12-0 to South Africa after 10 minutes of play. A great beginning for the touring team. 12-0 up. So Alan Hewson kicks off again, taken in by De Villiers Visser. And there's a penalty to New Zealand, so a chance for them to so it is going to be a shot at goal by Alan Hewson. Just like to point out here, there is quite a bit of movement in the ground from the riot squad running around the bottom of the pitch. Hewson kicking for goal. Just away in front, touchdown. So still 12-0, drop out from the 22. Border kicks it low and flat. New Zealand have somehow got to get back into this game. Not many test matches are lost from a 12-0 up, especially with a man like Nas Border likely to put more points on the board. That's for Big van der Merwe, number 3, the 20-stone giant who's gone in for that one. Nas Border kicking back behind Fred Woodman and Hewson. Drop out from the 22. Well, Graham Thorne, what's going to happen now? The New Zealand team are badly shattered by that beginning by the South Africans.
Well, the same thing happened in the Test match in Christchurch 2 weeks ago, but New Zealand managed to get their act together and come from behind. But this time they've got 12 points. They're not getting to the loose ball. The South African side are taking the play to them. They're getting the loose ball very quickly, and Naas Botha is passing it and kicking it well. It's a different ball game this time.
Houston kicks to the forwards. That's Berger Heldenhuis, number 6. Playing his test debut today. A drop kick will be on here. More points coming up. But just away to the right. Still 12-0. Danger man all right today, Naas Botha. 8 points today. Takes him through to 122 in his test career. And remember, the South African record is a 130 held by Pete Fasaki, so that may go today. How many dropouts has New Zealand had in the first 14 minutes of this match? Loveridge. So outside the 22 with a shattered New Zealand team. The crowd has been stunned into silence. Visser going high. Serfontein. Botha running it. Willie du Plessis, Danny Gerber. Corner flag there. And across came Houston to soccer the ball out. One of the South Africans down, looks like could be Oosthuizen. Serfontein, very crisp pass. Gerber, Pienaar is up. Du Plessis left out. Hayes beating Woodman down the outside again. Oh, Wilson's going to hurry it out.
Well, Kenny Hayes, who lost his test place in Christchurch, is a determined man today. He played well in Tuesday's Maori game, and today he's had the ball twice and looked dangerous on both occasions. He scored the try the first time he got the ball, and that time he was very close to the line, and only a tackle from Murray Mexted coming across in defence. You can see it now. Now it's a skip move from the centres, missing out Casey Pienaar. There is a very good skip, although it's just behind him now. You'll watch that it was a very ineffectual tackle, but Mexted came across and tackled him, and Stu Wilson was across in defence to take the ball out.
Injured player in midfield.
The Springboks are changing the whole text of their game from Christchurch. They're determined to run the ball, and they've got Casey Pienaar coming in to the middle of the line, and that is meaning that they're getting an overlap on the right. And Hayes has got the pace to run round his opposite number, Woodman, and twice it's looked very dangerous for New Zealand.
And there is the man who has come back to form in the first few minutes of this match, Gary Hayes. 4 tries in his last 3 appearances. Big jump this time by Moolman. The goal line is right there. South Africa winning everything at the moment. Whistle. "16 minutes gone." Defensive penalty, 5 metres out from the New Zealand line. Rollison. Good kick up to the halfway mark.
Well, people say in test matches when you win the toss, you should give it away. Although there's been a big discussion in Wellington over many years about the wind. New Zealand gave it away this time because they believed, I suppose, at the first 20 minutes of a test match, nothing happens. It's a time for trying each other out. But that was proved very wrong by South Africa today. And they got 12 points in a matter of 14 minutes. And now it's all uphill for for New Zealand.
17 minutes gone, first half. And that is the halfway line. Loveridge, Woodman. So let's look at the line-out order for you as Clive Norling comes down and checks. At the front is Oosthuizen against Ashworth. Oliver against Visser. Van der Merwe blocks against Burgess, and Hayden jumps against Moorman. And Moorman got to that one, but it's come onto the New Zealand side at halfway. Now they're running it. Lockie Cameron into the tackle. Sturdy defence there, 3 South Africans. New Zealand are trying to put pace on the South African team who didn't retire. And a bit of a tussle here involving Mark Shaw, but it's all over. 10-metre mark midfield. Alan Hewson up to talk with Dalton, and they decide it is worthwhile to have a shot.
Well, the wind has died down, if anything, although it's still a southerly. I suppose in Wellington they're saying it's just a zephyr, but it has died down from when the game actually started. It's a long way, though, into this wind, and the ball will be a bit dry. It's only been 20 minutes out there. It'll probably hang up, so it could work for New Zealand. It could even end up as an up and under.
Midfield, 40 metres out. That's another miss, and touchdown, drop out from the 22. No change in the score, 12-0. 19 minutes gone, first half. Down for 17. Charged down there by Greg Burgess. Former New Zealand powerlifting champion Greg Burgess, who began his rugby about 8 seasons ago as a winger. Very fast runner, but he's given that away for power now in the front row, the tight head position. Last border is going to be caught here. Kermasace in the centre. Hewson at halfway. Whistle. So Hermasace found himself out in the centre there. That was a forward pass. And we have a scrum. New Zealand have a good chance here. Their best chance perhaps so far. Will they use the blind? Open field that way. Blind side is about 15 metres to the right of the scrum. Free kick against Loveridge. The ball was not in straight. So there's the man who's been worth 8 points today so far for South Africa. Halfway. Visser. Six changes in that South African pack. Only Moolman and Stoffberg retain their places from Christchurch. Selectors will be feeling pretty happy right now about their decision.
It's interesting that they've taken a Northern Transvaal pack now, where Northern Transvaal don't play in the wet. And last week, the week before, the Western Province side, who actually play in the wet, did very badly.
Border. Hewson, just a little fumble. 67 points in 8 games for New Zealand. Had an injured neck at Christchurch. No sign of that at the moment from Hewson. And that's put New Zealand on the board.
Well, it was a long time coming for the crowd here, but the 3 points at least has got New Zealand going. And now they realise it's a long way before they're going to get to overhaul 15 points to 3. And they've got to tighten their game up. They've got to get to that loose ball.
So that's the first journey on the long road back uphill for this All Black team. After 27 minutes of play, they've closed the gap up to 12 points. 1 try in it, and 11 points so far to Nas Botha. Cameron, Rollison outside him. Cameron and Rollison changing their positions there. Cameron coming into first 5-8 and Rollison going outside him. That's Stoffberg at the 22, Oosthuizen. Cockrell, the replacement player, is number 16. And Botha recovered well.
Good support play by the South Africans, even though they were going back.
Those 2 players there, Cameron and Rollison in the 5-8s. The first club pairing to play in the 5-8s in a test match for New Zealand for 10 years. This is Blair Furlong and Ian McRae for Marist in 1970. And Rollison and Cameron, of course, coming from the Massey University team in Palmerston North. So Dalton to throw. It's on the New Zealand 10-metre line. Well, Vainen Klaasen leading the team well there from the number 8. I think it's the right thing for the South African selectors to do. The team, after all, knows who their captain is. Serpentine, Botha, Lee du Plessis, Pienaar in straight. That's Ray Mort. Stewart was the blocker. Here's Mark Shaw. Whistle's gone.
Well, it's the simple things that South Africa are doing well today. Hasey Pienaar, who last year was rated the best running fullback in the world, just comes quietly into the back line. It's either a skip move, missing a man out, or he just comes in as an extra man. It's worked 3 times already today.
Rollison for Pienaar. Drop kick on. Mort to Botha to Gerber. Testing the defence in midfield. Taken by Geldenhuys to Vainen Klaasen. Hoofing it through for Germes and Woodman.
Well, they're taking the play to New Zealand, and although New Zealand won that scrum, South Africa pinched it off them, and away they went again. Vainen Klaasen there, Stoffberg, Geldenhuys, all in the play.
Well, that ball rolled loose. It's right on the line. Loveridge back to Rollison. Last Botha having a look, see where his feet were, but they were out all right.
Sun coming right out of the west, you may have noticed there, as Moolman tried to take the ball. Loveridge with a clearance. At this moment, awkward for the Springboks. In the second half, they'll have the wind to face. but the sun behind them. Cockrell tries again. Hayden jumping at number 2. Mulman has it. There's the scissors. Chipped on by Gerber. Almost got a space with Loveridge doing the clearance. You'll also notice how the Springboks are coping much more easily, especially number 13 there, Dani Gerber, with the slippery conditions. Great jump there by Div Visser. Referee decides he was being lifted, and the spectators, understandably perhaps, have decided they agree with Mr. Norling from Wales. And with a minute to play in the first half before we move into injury time, South Africa 18, New Zealand 3. 4 penalty goals by Naas Botha and a try by Hermeshuis, converted by Botha. The familiar pattern. Was stationed down front. Behind him, Div Visser. And it's Van der Merwe, Mulman. And it was Stoffberg and Klaassen fighting out. Van der Merwe in the thick of it. Number 4 is Visser. That's the all-black 10-metre line. Back goes Bernie Fraser on the left wing. All quiet in the outer streets, except we can see the demonstrators in the far distance lining up, confronting, but not in any way attempting to move forward and penetrate the police lines, which are many thousands strong. That's Doug Rollison trying to be elusive. This is Fraser. And some bad tackling there. Springbok 10-metre line. Mark Shaw in the thick of it. This is rough. Now Bernie Fraser's coming off the ground, holding his head. Serfontein putting it in on his own 10-metre line. That's Fraser protesting. Morton pursuit. Had a minute of injury time. 18-3 South Africa. And don't be deceived by the sunshine. It's still cold. It's greasy. And Botha is coping well, as he has all afternoon, with some of these tricky, pressurized passes from Serfontein. Referee studying that mound of bodies and also looking, as he has very carefully all afternoon, for the offside line. Loveridge to Rollison. This is Woodman. Right into Burger Geldenese's arms. Rollison hacks it on. This is Pienaar. And the very muddy figure of Lachlan Cameron sprints across your screen. The man brought in to replace Andy Jefford. Ullman can't get it. Through comes Geldenhuys. This is Cockrell. Stoffberg overruns a bit. Visser is putting in the charge. That's the 22-metre line. Mulman helping. Again, very rugged exchanges and moving right over the ball. Probably knocking it forward in the process, and New Zealand ball. 42.5 minutes. 18-3 South Africa, just one try scored by Hermeshuis. Might almost call it 1.5 tries, because Hermeshuis came so very close, as you may remember, in the opening minutes. This is Wilson. Hewson with a kick for Bernie Fraser, chased by Mort and Pienaar. both backs of forwards, as you may have noticed, slowing down considerably after a very, very rugged 43 minutes of rugby under these slow and difficult conditions. Stoffberg towards the back of the line. And the referee blows his whistle for the end of the first half, which ran for 43.
Police are right up eyeball to eyeball now with that group on McAllister Park behind the Millard stand. And so the South Africans are now down to 14 men with Ockie Oosthuizen going to the sideline. And Nasport begins the match again with a place kick to touch. Hasn't found it. This is Murray Mexted. Now the All Blacks are playing a team with only 14. Loveridge skidding wide to Gerber. South Africans were up offside just near halfway. So Houston is going to have a shot at goal. Now that's an interesting thing. A chair has been brought on and it's very close to the touchline there for Oosthuizen. And Malcolm Hood, the New Zealand physiotherapist, is in checking. Terry O'Connor is the gentleman to the right, and the South African doctor is Dr. Augie Cohen. Oosthuizen is going to come back on, it would seem. So Houston from inside his own half. They hit pretty well, got the length, but just dropping under the bar. Still 18 points to 6. Minutes gone, second half. Only one try in the match, but the boot of Nasport has made the difference. Oosthuizen seems to be back to normal. That was Geldenhuys. There's Oosthuizen. Botha. Away to the top left, there is another injury break, and there's another injury to a South African player, and it's Louis Moolman this time is coming back very slowly. So the South African team are in the wars today, losing Willie Katz, then Willie du Plessis. Oosthuizen is not 100%, one gathers, and now it's Moolman.
And already the South Africans are starting to think defensively, because they've got on defence from a line out, they've got Germakase outside Naas Botha, and they've also dropped a forward back as well beside Botha, so they've got 9 players in their back line. So even with only 11 minutes gone in the second half, up by 12 points, they're starting to think defensively, which I don't think is a very good thing. But if you start thinking of defence, you seem to forget all about attacking, and the name of the game is scoring tries.
We would like to apologise to viewers in Auckland and North Auckland for disturbances on your pictures. There has been some interference with our Waiatarua transmitter, it would seem. Found by Mexted as the game resumes. Loveridge at halfway to Rollison, finding space on the narrow side. A high hoist, and Pienaar's there. There's Gyesi Pienaar, the man whose name is mispronounced all over the country. Even heard him referred to the other day as Gypsy Pioneer. So Pienaar's kick has got play outside the 22. Dalton throws deep to Stewart, played off his hands. Not straight. Collapsed on the near side. That's Flippy van der Merwe there against John Ashworth. It's not a usual thing to see the referee around the other side of the put-in. Midfield. Outside the Springbok 22. Loveridge to Mort. Held up in the mud. Now a chase. Hewson and Fraser and Pienaar. So pressure now from the New Zealand team on the South African line.
Well, down by 12 points. They need a try in the next couple of minutes to get back into this game.
13 minutes gone, second half. Scrum close to the line, the weight's gone in. There's the ball, it's inside the 5 metre line. Loveridge away to Rollison. Oh, big traffic ahead of him there. Another New Zealand put in close to the post.
Now got a bigger blind to go on the left. Alan Hewson just standing behind the scrum. You can see him.
There's Alan Hewson, it could be on. It's Murray Maxted trying to recover there. Into Stewart, that's effectively ended the set move. Now, Botha looked offside, but they're running it anyway. Out towards Woodman. Knock on by Fred Woodman, a definite scoring chance.
The ball's very slippery. Fred Woodman tried to pick it up, which he had to with the line only a couple of metres ahead.
Seven metres from the South African line. New Zealand have turned it. And they've got a penalty. Loveridge.
I think Dave Loveridge looked across at Andy Dalton thinking, shall we have a quick one? But Andy Dalton said no. We'll take the 3 points if possible from out here. It's the right-hand side, so it's the left-hand side, the right side for Alan Hewson.
Another Welshman running the touch judge, Jim and Vi Dainty of Newport will be delighted to see their son Cliff, who lives in Wellington, a Welshman through and through, running the touch is the Wellington #2 referee today. And he'll be watching closely as Alan Hewson lines up for this shot at goal. Score 18-6, 16 minutes second half. And the decision by Dalton was well worthwhile. 18-9.
But New Zealand still have to score twice to win this game, and that's a big job for them. Only 22 minutes left in this match.
Just to the 10-metre mark. Frank Oliver, the man who's come back to lock the scrum with Andy Hayden today. Now Rollison. Thermosage, who had such a great first half, hasn't been in much action here in the second. He hasn't found the line. Well, that's Hewson. Serfontaine and Pienaar back. Oh, nearly a collision. But a fair catch to Devan Serpentine. Serpentine having his 11th test match, and unlike Dave Loveridge, he's played all his with the same fly half, that's Nas Botha, whereas Loveridge, who's had 11 tests, has played with 6 different first 5/8. And that's Serpentine's kick. 18 minutes gone, still on South Africa's side of halfway. Four-man line out this time, called by Dalton. South Africans have got 5 in there. That's Hayden, Loveridge, Rollison, Ken Stewart. Botha. Woodman going back.
Well, I think that was the wrong decision for Nas Botha. He had a 4-2 situation on his left. He had 3 players outside him, and then there was only 2 All Blacks there on the right. And instead he kicked, and he got New Zealand into trouble there, but the pass would have been a better one.
More chance for points here from that line out. That's the 25. The New Zealand team retires, and Botha will come forward.
Well, once again, it's on the side that Nas Botha likes, the left-hand side of the field. He can draw the ball in from the left. 19 minutes gone in the match. 18 points to 9. And if Nas Botha can slot this one, 21-9, looks a big gulf between the two teams. This could be the crucial kick of the game.
Well, he looked a bit casual when he took that one, and it's a miss. Murray Mexted kicked it out. And it's Colin Beck running it forward. Coming down under the posts. And a good catch by Dave Loveridge.
No, it was a late tackle on Colin Beck there as he went after that ball. He was interfered with.
Oh, and this is a gift. We'll see if we can see that on the replay. I don't think it was. Let's have a look. Let's run it.
As Mexted, who could have forced that ball down, kicked the ball out. Here he comes. Now watch, the ball goes out and it's taken here. Now watch the player with the ball. He kicks the ball. Now watch, he's interfered with just there, and the referee's been perfect position to see he was only just touched by the New Zealand player, but that is enough. It's interference, and so Clive Norling decided that the penalty should be given.
An easy one for Botha is over. 21 points to 9, and that's the biggest score the Springboks have ever scored against the All Blacks.
And probably it all goes back to the ball not being forced down for the 22 by New Zealand. Mexted electing to kick for touch.
So Rollison kicks deep from the start. All Blacks are up against it now with 3/4 of the match on. Let's just check and see what's happening out the back. There are more people coming across to join in the confrontation on McAllister Park. You can see the barbed wire which has been cleared away by the demonstration group, and they're in facing the riot squad as the match restarts. Back to Botha with 17 points now, equal to his best in Test rugby. And in fact, that last kick gives Botha the record number of points for a South African Test player, taking him to 131, ahead of Pete Fasaki's record, which was compiled in 25 Tests. Botha's done it in only 13. Oki Oosthuizen, good tackle by Ken Stewart.
Playing the ball off the ground by Oosthuizen. He was tackled by Ken Stewart. The ball touched the ground, so it was a tackle, but he then tried to pick it up and give it to one of his players.
becoming a battle of penalties here. We've had a number of shots and we've had 8 successful penalty goals. So that's the distance for Hewson. So that's 4 penalty goals for Alan Hewson, and 22 minutes second half. It's closed up now to 21-12.
But again, the 6-point gap is still not there. It's 8 points now, and that's 2 scoring moves for New Zealand.
Visser got in and got it from the kickoff. That's good work by the lock forward, having his test debut today. Serfontein to Botha, to Beck, to Dani Gerber, to Botha, backing up well, across and into the deep shadow. Alan Hewson off his right boot. That's Fraser's fair catch. Oh, that's Skyden field to Pienaar. A long pass wide to Gerber, to Beck. Gerber out to the left. Wilson made the tackle. And Murray Mexted barging into the winger, Gerry Germases.
Well, there's still too many kicks that aren't finding the line, and this is basically from New Zealand. And if you don't find the line, you're not going to get out of trouble.
22-metre line there. So it's on the New Zealand 22. 15 minutes left in the match. 21 points to 12. The Springboks holding the lead that could level the series for them. The free kick to South Africa. It may be off here for a drop kick to Naas Botha. He's the deadly with the drop kick. 17 points already, and there he is. This is telling Serfontein how he likes it. Remember, he can snap drop kick very well. Here it comes. And very nicely caught by a policeman behind the dead ball line.
Well, even though Naas Botha had plenty of time in that drop kick attempt, he still seemed to rush it.
So Rollison down to Gerber, right back in South African territory. There's halfway. Loveridge here. Deflected by Moolman at the 10-metre mark, New Zealand territory. Serfontein pushing it to Woodman. Into Rollison. Now to Lockie Cameron. Good counter-attack. Why did Hewson kick? That's the question. Fraser and Wilson towing it ahead. Pienaar's got it covered, though.
New Zealand trying to run the ball from everywhere now, but they're not getting that much chance because they're still not getting to that loose ball as well as they should.
There's Stuart Wilson, who perhaps could have got a pass there from Alan Hewson.
And since Mr. Norling has penalised the forwards for coming to the line out quickly, both sets of forwards are a bit dubious of coming into that maul situation.
Time ticking away for the New Zealand team. 13 minutes left. Botha kicks that one high into the grandstand. Never scored a try in the test, but he doesn't need to with tallies like 17 points, giving him the South African record. Well, Stockberg got that one from Loveridge as it rolled away from Loveridge. Free kick here. New Zealand might try something here. Loveridge might put it up in the air. Rollison, drop kick attempt. A hit of South African. Now I wonder if Pienaar knows that. Yes, he does. Runs it out and kicks from the line.
I think perhaps the up and under might have been the better tactic there. In the first test, New Zealand tried it and it worked. And there, they haven't had one up and under today from a penalty.
That's 6 missed drop kick attempts by New Zealand in the series, because it was 2 today and 4 last test at Christchurch. Serfontein had a tidy little game again today as the South African halfback, Devan Serfontein.
And they've learnt their lesson from Christchurch, the South Africans. In the Lancaster Park test match, New Zealand were quick to the loose ball and they got it back to Dave Loveridge, and he put the pressure on South Africa. Today, the ball, whenever it's been got by South Africa, it's gone back to Serfontein, and he's kept the pressure on New Zealand. It just shows you that perhaps the South African selectors didn't make a mistake when they changed the team so much.
That's Ken Stewart injured on the field. Over the back, the confrontation continues between a large number in a demonstration group facing the Riot squad, but it looks a little more in a stalemate down at this end, particularly of that confrontation on McAllister Park. So the game will start again with just over 10 minutes left. 21-12. South Africa leads. Just one try in the game. A brilliant try in the corner for Germasays. Let's see how Rollison and the New Zealand backs can go this time. Looping is Cameron. Kicking through. Pienaar has it. Keeping the ball and play deliberately. Woodman and Wilson. Wilson has it. Rollison tried to straighten it up and lost the momentum. Now they're going again. Stuart Wilson made the pass. Serfontein kicks deep, and now the chase is on. Fraser should make it back in time. Out in midfield in front of the posts. Down for Serfontein. Back to Border. Drop kick coming up. And 3 more points for Naas Botha. And that must put it well beyond doubt now at 24-12.
Well, what a simple move. The Willie away came back from Oosthuizen, got it back to Serfontein, and Naas Botha had all the time in the world to put the 3 points on the board.
So what an amazing exhibition of drop kicking, penalty kicking today by Naas Botha. His total of points now is 20. And remember how elated New Zealanders were when Alan Hewson got 20 points against Scotland earlier this season. South African record for points in a test match is 22, held by another of their great kicking fly halves, Gerald Bosch, against France in 1975. So the battle goes on for the New Zealanders, but they're really in trouble now in this match. A long pass for Houston.
And as that ball went along the New Zealand backline, Wynand Klaasen, the South African number 8 and captain, was there right inside the whole way and just shepherding all the New Zealand backs across the field.
That's Wynand Klaasen. What a triumphant return to the test scene for him today. dropped for the first test, as many other South African captains have been dropped in New Zealand. Serpentine's ball in.
Loveridge round a little too quick there on Serpentine. 8 minutes remaining in the match. 24 points to 12 to South Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have your attention, please? A message from the police.
A message from the police on the public address system now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the police have held the demonstrators on McAllister Park by the Rintoul Street gate.
This is a message from the public address system about the demonstration at the back.
Is avoided. Please comply with this request. The gates of the Adelaide Road entrance will remain closed.
Well, as the game continues, that's more news about that dramatic confrontation on McAllister Park. The New Zealand team running the ball here, but as the public address system gives him a message, Fraser kicking ahead now, and Borta, the man who is everywhere, gets back to touchdown.
The demonstrators are in Adelaide Road.
The guts of the thing is that the demonstration, it seems, is going to go on, so the police are not going to open the gates to let the people in the ground go out to that confrontation. They're keeping the rugby people away from this demonstration outside. That was the gist of the announcement made on the public address system. And of course, most people inside the athletic park will not be aware of the demonstration outside because they're down in the bowl of the stadium and can't see outside as we can from our elevated camera position. Match is just a few minutes to run. Ida brought up. A lot of the crowd moving towards the gate and all moving around to the Rintoul Street side to clear the park. Quite a strange atmosphere in the ground. The game is effectively over as a contest with 24-12. They've had that announcement from the police, and a lot of people are moving towards the gates now, and the game is just kind of playing itself out here. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before, really.
The last movement was just so quiet and silent. No one seemed to know what was going on or want to know. New Zealand can't win this game with 5 minutes to go, 24-12, 12 points. They're trying to up the tempo, but they're not succeeding. They've been effectively beaten to the loose ball, which is the crux of the All Black game.
And there are the many hundreds of people who are leaving out through the Rintoul Street gates at the end of this match as the struggle continues.
Ladies and gentlemen, just repeating this announcement from
now the repeat of the announcement that the gates will not be opened on the McAllister Park side of Athletic Park.
And it is essential that a confrontation is avoided. Therefore, all people are asked to leave via Rintoul Street. Via Rintoul Street.
That's Ashworth leading a New Zealand charge. Now they've got it out to Loveridge. Ken Stewart, the referee right behind him, saw him knock it on.
Well, nothing's going right for New Zealand today, but they've been effectively shut out by South Africa. Tremendous effort from South Africa to come back from that first test loss, make all those changes and take the play right to New Zealand.
Tackler was Mexted. Penalty to South Africa. Yes, one has to say that the better team is winning this match. The South Africans clearly on top all the way through. And the man with the boot. That's the story of the match. Really, Botha controlling throughout. And 5 penalty goals, 1 drop goal and 1 conversion for 20 points today. Serpentine. Houston let it bounce. Now can he swing this? He's trying to. Fraser gets through. Bernie Fraser away and clear at halfway. He's got Mexted inside him, but the pass went the other way and was lost forward. Well, just a couple of flashes by Bernie Fraser. About the only consolation New Zealand could have out of this game. Ten-metre mark. South African territory. Free kick to New Zealand. Now this one should go up in the air. Running it. Flipped on nicely to Lockie Cameron. Got away from Baden Klaassen's tackle. 10 metres out. Penalty against Visser. Now what's it going to be? 10 metres from the line. Rollison, Cameron. Thomas Hayes. Botha. And that, quite simply, when Botha gets the ball, is that.
And that's exactly what New Zealand were doing in the first test, and we say it time and time again, but the roles are being reversed in this test, where if the ball goes loose, it comes back on the green side. 2 weeks ago, it came back on the black side, and they did exactly the same thing.
Rollison, Cameron, Wilson getting through up to the 22 nearly. Loveridge again. Rollison. Cameron's there. Again coming back inside.
And Lockie Cameron, who was committed to coming back inside there by the South Africans coming up too flat, and Colin Beck was on the receiving end of Lockie Cameron running into him.
Beck, who came on as a replacement for his first cap for South Africa.
And is a deserved one at that for the way he's played on the tour, Keith.
He certainly has. He's been the best of their backs day in, day out. Stu Wilson. Keldon Hayes went high. Down and up for Loveridge. Chipping through towards Fraser. Just out near the corner. Just seconds remaining in the match.
Well, Bernie Fraser has been the only star that shone at all brightly in the New Zealand side today. He's made 3 good breaks. One just a few minutes ago that, well, if he'd got the try, that would have been one of the great tries.
Right on the goal line. Serpentine, this could be the end. Everyone watching Clive Norling. He's allowing play to go on for a wee bit longer, but there he is, checking his watch. Cameron, Loveridge, Rollison. Now Woodman got a high ball. Wilson's inside him. Ken Stewart there. A few metres out. And when the ball was clear, Botha kicked it away. And Rollison and Botha have had a great competition in this series. Rollison being spoken to, and he wants to see him. I think Rollison had something to say there.
Well, that's a silly thing to do. It's a minute to go on the clock, and Doug Rollison's mouth just let him down, and he said something to the referee, and this is just completely stupid of Doug Rollison to do this, and Clive Norling does not take any of this from any player around the world. And he's now going to give the penalty either where Botha was obstructed or where the ball actually landed. He's given it right up the field.
Well, that's an unfortunate way for the match to come to its conclusion, as it has, with the Springboks delighted with their 24-12 win. There are the two architects of it, Vane and Klaassen, the captain, but Naas Border mostly, with 5 penalties, 1 drop goal and 1 conversion for 20 points. And there is the match winner, essentially, for South Africa.
So even more ammunition for Kiwis who weren't happy about the 1981 Springboks being in the country after the South Africans dominated the All Blacks for a 24-12 victory for the visitors. Thanks for watching the Rugby Channel. It was our pleasure to bring you Test 2 in the 1981 Springbok Tour of New Zealand.